My name's Lazybed, and I've been a fight fan for over 30 years. As an accidental industry insider, I've become a staple in the chat rooms of some of your favorite podcasts.
I'm DangerMouse, an Englishman by blood, a Yorkshireman by the grace of God, a dedicated, devoted, and often sleep-deprived casual fan who once upon a time did earn a black belt in Japanese Jiu-Jitsu.
And my name is Austin, aka No Special, a former wrestler with a knack for all things grappling, who's not afraid of a fiery take or ruffling some feathers.
Together, we combine our individual expertise to dive deep into the current events and ongoings in the world of mixed martial arts, the big and the small. This is the Weekend Roundup.
Hey up, you bleeders. The UFC took us back to the most famous warehouse since the US government stashed the Ark of the Covenant for what some, well, at least one person, thought might be the best Apex card ever. Even though it had a main event that I look forward to with the level of enthusiasm that was so low it could not be measured. Would it be liver? Could what's-his-name be involved in an entertaining main event? Time for us to find out. I'm your host, DangerMouse, and this is episode 99 of Just Bleed Radio's Weekend Roundup. Yeah, sorry, I'm back hosting again. And if you've been paying attention, you'll know that means Lazy isn't here. Good news, though, for all of us, and believe me when I say that, is that I'm not all alone. I'm joined by JBR's West Coast correspondent, the man with all the beers and all the cauliflower ears. It's No Special, a.k.a. Austin. How you doing, mate?
Not bad. I got like a peachy IPA that I'm sipping on right now. Not bad, but it's a good, I'm enjoying the weekend. Got a lot of things going on. The fights are interesting, and it's summer, barbecue season.
Yeah, you wouldn't believe it looking out of my window. It must be said. As you mentioned, I'm on the old session hen, which is a very mild beer, but very nice. And speaking of beers, if you're listening, you might as well crack open one yourself or pour yourself a glass of something nice, and we'll get on to the fights. And I said in the intro, could we get an interesting or fun main event out of Belal? And what do you know? He sacrificed his face to achieve that success. All week long, I was intending on picking Bonfim,
but you didn't.
And then as the week went on, every single pundit whose opinions I respect had Belal grinding out a classic decision win. I let the peer pressure get to me, and I switched to Belal. These were the same fuckers, by the way, who persuaded me not to take JDM when he fought him. I should have learned, but I didn't. However, there are Tapology losers that I hate. Sorry, Tapology losses that I hate, and ones that I love, and this one is definitely of the latter. The tail of the fight was controlling the centre and applying forward pressure to make Belal work off his back foot and somewhat nullify the takedown threat. Round 3, just a few moments really from the fight here. A very bloody and battered Belal had his mouthpiece sent absolutely flying by a perfectly timed 1-2. And again, so often Belal would barge in with his arms swinging, only for Bonfim to slip, duck, and just punish Belal, often with a very nice straight right. I don't know how many times he hit him with that. And his corner between, I think it was just as the championship rounds were starting, was saying feint, jab, and calf, something like that. That was literally his plan. It's a little bit like a Sean Strickland plan really. Minimal weapons, just very effective ones. And as it turned out, it was a really good game plan because his jab did turn Belal's face into a bloody mask, whereas Bonfim just went from strength to strength. And as Belal looked increasingly desperate, he never looked beaten, I'll point out. He's always sort of dangerous. You can just ask Sean Brady about that. But Bonfim was the one that did all the damage and didn't seem to take any obvious damage himself. And yet again, the simple jab proves its worth. I tell you, mate, those boxers may actually know their stuff about punching. What do you know? Absolutely dominating performance by Gabriel, 50-45, which was the correct score for the fight. All respect for Gabriel for showing some respect to Belal at the end of the fight, but also kind of cruel. You could see that Belal just wanted to get the fuck out of that cage, and I couldn't really blame him having just taken a beating like that. There was, for me, the vague hope that Belal might lay his gloves down because he just had 3 losses in a row, but it's just not quite enough to get rid of him at this moment. You're just going to have to find me a welterweight outside the top 15 for Belal's next fight, and then we can see him booted out of the top 15 and forget about him and not remember his name any more than unless we have to when mentioning welterweight champions. As for Bonfim, I think his choice is pretty obvious. Let's give him Jack Della Maddalena and see if we give JDM his third loss in a row. That might set a trend for Gabriel Bonfim. Yeah, I think a lot of people, including me, were surprised, I guess, by Bonfim's performance. On Tapology, I noticed the fans there had Belal 75% winning the fight, mainly by decision, of course. But Gabriel Bonfim proved us all wrong. Certainly proved me wrong. I don't know if Austin picked Gabriel or not. I doubt it very much because I think you're a bit of a sneaky Belal fan, aren't you? Anyway, so what do you think of the fight, mate?
Yeah, you're right. Because I did pick Belal. I thought he would actually instigate the wrestling a lot fucking sooner than he did, and then he abandoned it the minute he couldn't get the first takedown. It was confusing to me. I think I said it in one of the chats that we were watching, that we were in. He's just headhunting. He was headhunting the whole time. Barely any leg work, barely any body work. And it wasn't even that like Bonfim was putting out an excellent game plan. He wasn't engaging. He wasn't putting a pace. He wasn't trying to clinch against the cage. He was circling the cage the whole time, which is not what Belal usually does. Belal's going forward. Belal's instigating a takedown. Belal's switching up stances and then firing into the clinch to look for possibly dirty boxing moves or elbows, something. I think that was the most frustrating part about it, was that Bonfim wasn't doing anything spectacular. Bonfim was just fucking sparring with him. And if you're going to look at who the former champion of this fucking weight class used to be, that Belal would have at least put Bonfim on his ass once or twice at a bare minimum and at least landed some fucking offense while he did it. Instead, he was played from the outside. Someone made a joke about it. Show the Canelo hands. He barely did. And when he did, he was looking for only headshots. At least fucking Canelo goes to the goddamn body. And what were we going to do the whole time? His corner's pleading with him to fucking do something. And you're looking at this fight going, yeah, Bonfim's not something special. He's just kind of there. He's literally winning by doing barely anything. And Belal's giving him the entirety of the fight. Fucking 5 rounds we do this. 5 rounds. Like, for someone who's had a fall off to this scale, I'm sorry. He didn't look like he was shot. He just looked like he no longer cared. And that's the thing that kind of sucks about it, is because, like you said, at the end of the fight, he's like, yeah, I don't want to be here. Then why the fuck do you show up, man? Like, I get it. You kind of look for an easy way to fucking finish the fight. Fuck, I think he tried only headhunting fucking, every combination. Half the time, he's getting bopped in the face and he's not getting hurt. I think that was the worst part about it, was that Bonfim was landing. Bonfim was doing what he needed to win. He didn't need to establish a heavier pace. He didn't need to decrease. He didn't need to change up anything he was doing. He literally had an opponent who was just there to be hit, and he wasn't finishing him. He rode out the typical, like, I don't need to do anything. I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. I don't need to risk this because he's not going to change up. And he was right. He took the gamble on not needing to do additional, like you said, only come into the fight with a couple of weapons and just execute the plan. And that was it. From the minute the bell rang, Belal circled. And I was like, oh, fuck, this is not good. Because tell me not. Would you have thought the Belal's downward trajectory as far as offense would be like this bad? Because his last 2 fights, he literally went from I got stand up. He's giving up on exchanges. He's also fighting more athletic guys, but still, it's frustrating because this is the same dude who put work in on Leon Edwards and took the title from him. Where is that guy? That guy was the guy that could at least establish a good pace, good game plan, and execute it, even if he wasn't going to win every exchange. I think that was the thing that I found most frustrating, because this was just rinse and repeat from round 1 to round 5, from fucking opening seconds to the final bell. And he just didn't change.
This was Belal without the sex, obviously.
That's right.
I'm very pleased to say I've never seen the fight with Leon. I refused to watch it on the night. I knew Leon had lost. Never watched it. Don't have to now.
It was a good performance from him. And that's the thing that's kind of frustrating, because it was a great fight for Belal in most aspects. And that guy never showed up again. That's the crazy part.
I did promise I'd watch it if he beat JDM, and of course he didn't beat JDM. So tough shit. I don't have to watch it now. Man of my word, mouse of my word, whatever the fuck you want to say. Anything else you want to say on this fight?
Nah, I mean, I don't know what you do with Bonfim except for
JDM. It's JDM. He's at number 4.
Yeah.
Bilal's number 5 or more.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Do you think he's ready? I don't think he's ready for that. I mean, technically it's JDM, but still.
It could be a fun fight. We're going to get 2 strikers, more than likely. I guess Bonfim could decide to take it down to the ground, but
yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, it'd be an easier step for Belal. I'm sorry, for JDM, because I got it. Yeah, it would be an easier fight for him. I just don't know if Bonfim's going to just stand with him though.
Well, he's jumped into the top 5 now. He's got to. He's had to fight someone who's still above him now, and has to defend his number 5 spot, which I wouldn't hate either.
Gotcha. Did you give any of those rounds to Belal?
No, not a chance.
No, I didn't either. Yeah, that's it. Same.
No.
Yeah.
Not a chance in hell. Sean Brady at 6, Leon Edwards 7, Kamaru Usman, who's fighting DDP at 8, Joachim Buckley, number 9, Yaroslav Amazov at number 10, and Bonfim was, of course, number 11 before this fight. Yeah,
you're right. Okay, yeah, that's a fair fight.
Yeah, and you got Michael Morales and Carlos Prates and Gary in the top 3 spots. Just leave Jack Della Maddalena. It's not a bad fight for him. At worst, he's going to lose his 1 spot in all likelihood. He just dropped down to number 5. I like it. I don't care. That's my desire. Next up, for the co-main event, Brendan Allen versus Edmen Shahbazyan at middleweight. I don't know how much I have to say on this one, really. It was a bit of a nothing burger of a fight for me. Shahbazyan was taking a shot from outfield at a top 5 position, again, taking another shot at a top 5 position in the rankings. And although he performed fairly adequately, he did ultimately fall short. Allen, of course, afterwards called him for a title shot or at least a number 1 contender fight. I'm not really sure about that. There was nothing about Allen's performance that really gave me any desire to see him fighting in the near future for a belt.
Straight right. I don't know about that.
He should really have. And was Shahbazyan ranked? I forget now.
I don't believe he was. I think he was trying to get into the rankings.
No, again,
he was
not ranked. Yeah. So really, if you're ranked number 4, you should be taking care of somebody outside the rankings, I would say, especially with someone with Allen's reputation for submissions. Where the fuck was that? He just largely stood and struck with Shahbazyan, and although he came out ahead, I think he did lose 1 round on 1 judge's card, but didn't look impressive for me. How about you, Austin?
That's the thing. I think we're looking at this fight as like a middleweight fight.
Yeah.
Allen is known to have finishes, right?
I didn't want to steal your line.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's the thing. Because I gave Allen the fight. Did you also give Allen the fight? Like scorecard wise?
I had it really close. I haven't bothered reading about there, but round 1 I thought was largely a feeling out process. Very little bit of action at the very end. I thought it was probably an Allen round, but the significant strikes of that round were very even. I think there was 1 difference and maybe 1% difference as well. And round 2 was again close, but both men wearing a little bit of damage there. I think I probably would have edged that one to Allen. And then I forget exactly. I think round 3 was the clearest of them all. Yeah, round 2 potentially could have been Shahbazyan's. I don't think I could find 2 rounds for him though.
That's the thing. I had it close too, but it was like the minute that like Shahbazyan started losing the fight for me, it was like the 3rd minute start of the 2nd round, because then that's when Allen actually started enclosing on the range of Shahbazyan and just continued with like just cheap shots, catching him off guard, off balance. Shahbazyan not capitalizing on counters and, honestly just waiting too long for engaging. And then when he would engage, he'd counter Allen pretty well, but Allen would kind of like no sell it and just to, continue jabbing back, low kicking, clinch work. Like it was almost as though Shahbazyan was too afraid to open up and offer like more, devastating offense, because he's good. He knows how to finish people. He knows how to box pretty well. He's not a, amazing kickboxer, but he's a great striker, and he knows how to, turn the, crank up the the speed and the pace of his strikes. He knows how to do that. It was just weird because Allen was there for the taking in some exchanges. He might have dazed him and being able to knock him down. I don't know if he would have won the fight, but that might have been the difference because that killer instinct was not there. Allen didn't need the killer instinct. Allen just needed to kind of be there and be it was kind of like that's why I say middleweight, because sometimes these fights happen where it's like, yeah, they're two guys. You would say they're kind of athletic, but they're not athletes, and they're both in there just kind of doing their thing. And one guy's going to end up the victor. Yeah, right. Except one guy's like, I'm not getting the look I want. I don't know what to tell you, man. This is how I kind of spar. That's all it was. And again, like you said, Allen didn't look amazing. I don't think Allen's deserving of a title shot. I'm sorry, the Naaman. I'm sorry, not Naaman. He's not there. He's not there. He's up there, but he's not there. I mean, hell, put him up against the former champion. Maybe we'll talk, but we'll see, because this division's kind of choked up right now at the top anyway. So it's kind of, he just needs an opponent. As long as it's somebody in the top 10, he should be fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did like Eric Nixick's cornering before the third round started, though. Just saying, I don't care what the score is, just go out there and give it everything. Give me everything you have left. And I don't think Edmen necessarily did that. He did try, to be fair. But yeah,
by that point, it was already too late. Like, he's already getting into. He also, I think, was afraid of gassing out, which is fair because he's done that before. So that makes he's just he tried to not lose the fight, but by doing that, he lost the fight.
Exactly.
If that makes sense. Yeah.
I'm sure that gassing out in the middle of a cage when someone's trying to pound your face in is not a very nice experience. Fortunately, I've never had to experience it. But you've wrestled, I dare say. I dare say when you're knackered and wrestling, that's equally not very much fun.
Yep. No, it's definitely not fun.
Alrighty then. Next up, we had Shahbazyan versus Tom Nolan. Some weight or other that I haven't written down. What weight was this?
Lightweight.
Lightweight. It was lightweight. Thank you. Tom Nolan in purple, the dreaded color. I noticed
Royal
that was
purple, to be fair.
yeah. Kind of funny. My dad hates purple. He bought me a blanket thing that's purple, and he just shuddered. He was like, "Color of death. I hate it." But enough of my family troubles. This is a kind of a fun fight in its own way. Ziam had the advantage for about the first minute of the first round, and then Tom Nolan swung a right hand at him, ended up grabbing Ziam, picked him up, slammed him down, and held him down for quite a while. Ziam did get back up. Nolan picks him back up, slams him down again, but it goes badly against him that time. And Ziam actually ended up being in control for a little bit of time. All the tweets, though, after that first round were giving it 10-9 to Nolan, including your favourite, Austin, Silly Goose MMA. They had it 10-9 Nolan. And then round two, it was just more control wrestling by Nolan. And that left Ziam with the needing the finish to win. Round three, Nolan just looking to rinse and repeat. And although Ziam did end up getting the first takedown of that round, and he ended up mounting and threatening a couple of chokes, only for Nolan to again reverse the position. And again, although Ziam did get another takedown and threaten more chokes in a vague way, he just couldn't do anything to deny Nolan in that one. And I do have a couple of other things to say about this fight. As Austin will know, because he was laughing about it, I did buy Tom Nolan for my MMA fantasy team because simple fact that he had a chance of getting into the top 15, and that makes him more valuable if that works. Don't need to go into that. Did not, however, though, pick him for Tapology, though. I did not quite have enough faith in him for some reason. And I would feel bad about that. I'd feel more bad about it, should I say. But his fellow Aussie, left lane MMA, who I listen to for picks sometimes, in fact, most of the time, didn't even back him. And he pretty much said that he knows Aussie talent and Tom Nolan just isn't it. So I'm going to have to get that bit clipped for Dave and find it for him.
Like, I don't rate him. Like, I'm sorry. He's just lanky and tall and, like, has power, so he can catch people, maybe. If left lane had faith in his countrymen, I too would have picked him, but I didn't. But nonetheless, he's still going to be ranked next week, which means his value increases on my team, which is fantastic for me.
Tom Nolan does have his weaknesses. His striking isn't great, but he is only 26. He has plenty of time to improve. Zayam, I think, I don't know, was he exposed there or what? Is Zayam's wrestling not actually that good? I don't have the wrestling chops to analyze it, to be fair. Obviously, Nolan largely dominated him, but a bit of a surprise for me. I was expecting a bit more of a striking battle.
No, well, tell me not, like, when you looked at this matchup, your first thought was like Tom Nolan's going to run him over, right? It wasn't even that, right? It was just more like, Faraz should get the win on this one, right? Your first thought. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that Tom isn't like a good wrestler or capable of wrestling. It's just you don't look at him and think, oh yeah, he can wrestle. Like that's not the thing you get from him. He's big for the division. He's tall and lanky, so that helps him with striking and grappling if it needs to go there. But Faraz was the more rounded guy. He was the more dangerous of the striking. He even counter grappled Tom Nolan a couple of times.
Yeah,
but he got a couple reversals in there too. But it was the size of the different of the fighters, because it's not like Ziam hasn't fought somebody who's bigger than him or has a stronger grappling game than him. He's capable, but he finds himself kind of like doing the thing. Okay, so you remember when John Jones and Daniel Cormier fought, right?
Yeah.
John Jones was just the first time they basically John Jones is out here, just kind of not dog walking him, but close. And then he just kind of out wrestles the former Olympian, right? And, and again, it's MMA, but still, and then, Daniel Cormier kind of like allowed the fight to get away from it because now, okay, this guy's bigger than me. He's out wrestling me. I've trained against better guys. I've fought better guys that are athletes. And, this guy's just out here just working me. And his only saving grace was getting a takedown at the end of the fight. And that's kind of what ended up happening in this fight, where it's like he kind of, instead of disengaging from the grappling and clinch work, he actively went into it and would find himself in these positions where he's forced to grapple in a defensive manner and, find his way out or up or, fight off the offense from Tom Nolan. And it's not like Tom was out here ground and pounding him into dust, but he found himself fighting a fight he didn't need to fight and lost the fight because of it. He was looking for the counters when he should have just been trying to get up and get out. So it's one of those things where it's like, it's unfortunate because Ziam was on a great win streak and he gets probably knocked out of the top 15. Tom probably takes his spot, but like, it sucks because I like what I was seeing from, him and Tom Nolan. Yeah, he showed up. I don't know if he's going to win again, but he showed up. Good for him.
Well, I think Ziam was on a 6-fight winning streak and Nolan's on a 4-fight winning streak, something like that.
Yes. I think this was his first fight this year, I think.
Yeah, somebody's streak was coming to an end.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like I said,
don't bounce back, though.
Should have had the faith in my convictions there, having bought Tom Nolan. I'm sorry, Tom. It's all Left Lane's fault. Who needs to be on Prop Quiz, by the way? Not that he'll ever hear me saying that he should be on it, but he should. I never thought. Do you actually listen to Prop Quiz, Austin?
I've tried. I keep missing episodes just because I get busy.
No, fair enough. All right, then let's have an end of that conversation. Let's go on to at 135, I believe, Santiago Luna versus Bryce Mitchell. Hallelujah! Bryce Mitchell is back in the cage. I know he's a controversial figure, but he does put a bit of life in MMA at the very least. This one, the fight, it just didn't take long for Bryce to just go for the takedown. He ends up pushing Luna up against the cage. Then, for some reason, in that first round, Luna decides to engage in Bryce's favourite game. And as a result, he ends up with Bryce laying on top of him in half guard. And Bryce didn't really do much initially, just slow, grinding progress until all of a sudden then he's in full mount and he's in total control, ends the first round, almost getting the rear naked choke sunk in. Bit of a fight IQ fail from Luna there. Definitely don't want to be playing that game with too much with Bryce Mitchell. Although he did, in the long run, I guess he did fairly well at it. And the fight was more or less the same for the next 2 rounds, really. Bryce goes for a takedown. Luna would recover, get top position, and then most of the time he'd actually very wisely, showing some fight IQ for once, actually step away and maybe try and do some striking with Bryce. Bryce, his striking is maybe not the best in the game. It's effective in its own little way, not good, but it works for him with his wrestling and that kind of stuff. He can afford to take more risks because he doesn't care if you take him down to the ground because he's just going to play his jiu-jitsu game there. And round 3 again, more of Bryce in control, looking for that arm triangle from very, very early on. I think Dominic Cruz said he was looking for it for about 3 minutes. And that's what he did. He just maintained top position, just crushing down top pressure. And then he was just slowly working his way around. And then the very final seconds, just as the clackers went to, for the 10-second warning, Bryce actually steps out of half guard, gets his leg to the outside, sinks in the arm triangle, and Luna has no chance, no option but to tap. This was just, for me, a very clear story of experience. It's not often that I've bet against an unbeaten fighter, someone with an O in their record, but I had no choice here. Luna is undoubtedly a great prospect, but that's what he is. He's a prospect. He's 21 years old, or 21 years of age, as Luke Thomas likes to say. And in this, he just went up against a real veteran. Bryce is 31 years old. Thug Nasty. They give him that name for a reason, I guess. And yes, Bryce has been beaten in the past, but generally only by much better fighters than Luna is at least at the moment. And in this one, Bryce just showed his maturity, his experience. He wasn't in a hurry. He just had all the time in the world to maintain top position, work his way around to a submission. Didn't really care whether he got the submission, I don't think, too much. He just wanted to maintain that control. The submission at the very end was a nice little bonus for him. Plenty of time for Santiago Luna to recover. He's only 21. It's a bit of a blotch on his record, but it's one loss. It's not the end of the world. I'm sure he'll come back. They can find him a different fight against somebody, maybe someone more of his age, someone who's in that 25, 26 range, rather than a crafty veteran like Bryce. I haven't seen Bryce's post-fight press conference. The press conference following the fights. I heard him in the cage, obviously, doing his usual quoting the Bible kind of stuff. It's Bryce Mitchell. Get used to it, folks. You either like him, you don't. I can understand why people don't like him. He said all sorts of controversial shit. And I'm sorry, Bryce, the world is round. It's not flat. And we did, in fact, evolve from apes somewhere along the way. And with that ending, I'll pass it over to Austin. I've rambled on enough there.
I mean, this is typical Bryce Mitchell fight. He wins by forcing his opponent to fight his fight. And if his opponent is capable of not fighting the fight, disengaging and just power bombing him more or less, then that's how he loses, right? And in this case, it was more or less like Luna. He's only had 8 fights, if I'm not mistaken. This was his 9th. Like you said, he's young. He's got a ton of experience to get to before he gets to the point where he can handily defeat someone like Bryce Mitchell. Because it's like you said, there's a point where you could see Luna engaging in the grappling willingly, and you're kind of like, no, stand up. What are you doing? Like, come on. This is how he wins the fights. He gets you to engage in his fight, and then pretty much he pulls you out of your game plan because now you're wrestling with him. And if you're wrestling with him, you're losing. Even if you're winning some of the engagements, you're already playing his game by virtue you're losing. And you're going to give him an excuse to stay on top of you and not let you go, which he did multiple times. And he just made sure, if I'm going to take the fight away, I'm going to make sure he can't get back up. And by God, did Bryce Mitchell do that. And then on top of it, too, like you said, he has an opportunity. Luna actually goes for a submission after getting the takedown in the 3rd and then loses the fight and then gets subbed himself in the 30 seconds of the fight. Like, damn it. The Chris flew too close to the sun. But it's okay. This is the type of fight he needs, honestly. Every prospect needs a tough fight like this against a tough veteran. And he's going to test you. He's going to put you in a space you're not comfortable with, and you're going to learn how to fight out of it or lose. And, even if you lose, it's going to be a good learning experience. It's not like he got his ass kicked. He just got beat. He got finished by a guy who knew where to go. And that's good for him because now he can take that experience and know, okay, this is what I got to work on. This is what I should improve on. This is what I'm okay doing, continuing forward. He has a lot of the tools that he needs. He just needs to work on them. So not a bad loss. If you're going to lose to someone like Bryce Mitchell, it's because it's going to teach you a lesson, and you'd rather be at the beginning of your career, not the midpoint or ending, type of thing.
Very true. Santiago Luna learning that Derek Lewis's opinion that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu doesn't exist is in fact wrong, at least at these weights.
Yes.
We'll see more of Derek, of course, next week. And the opener for the main card, a result that I don't think surprised anyone at all. At light heavyweight, Rudy Baraniewski versus Junior Taffa, that perennial Aussie who's going to get knocked out by everybody. Rudy, a member of my fantasy team again. In this case, Rudy was just being given a sacrificial victim, albeit quite a dangerous one in his own way. Taffa, a former heavyweight, he hasn't noticeably gained much by dropping down to light heavyweight. And maybe he's just lost all the muscle in his calf. It's difficult to tell. You'd have to check. I guess you'd have to check, which is something that Taffa didn't do. And in fact, it took only 2 kicks from Baranowski to drop Taffa and just see him covering up in a ball, which, in fairness, is what I'd do if I was in that situation. But I'm not a professional MMA fighter, and the referee just took one look and went, nah, son. You're just covering up. We can end this fight here. I doubt very much that much of what Rudy was throwing actually hit him when he was pounding down, but he had no interest in getting involved in the fight. Rudy did not do what Yuri Prohaska did and give Taffa a chance to recover. He went in for the fucking kill and he got it. Big style. Short fight. Glad to see it. 100 points on Tapology without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah, all good news. You like this one?
I think everyone. I think everyone picked the same.
First round TKO. Yeah,
but I didn't expect it to be the leg kick that did the deed that got to the finish, right? And I don't know if that's just Taffa not having been kicked in the leg a ton, or if it was just those were targeted leg kicks and Baraniewski he just knew how to land them. And I think that's the thing is calf kicks, whether you land them good or not, they're still going to suck.
Well, he did say in the post-fight interview that it was a weakness that they'd seen in Taffa's game. So, but I haven't been back and looked at the fights to check it.
Taffa would understand the severity of the situation. But then again, he probably did. That's why he's ended up on the ground.
Work on those calves.
Light heavyweight.
Yeah, we still have yet really to see if Rudy is actually the genuine article or not, or is he just knocking over cans at the moment?
Just let him knock over cans. Let him knock over cans. See, we're having fun doing it. He doesn't need to fight up the chain super fast yet. There's plenty of light heavyweights for him to kill. Right? Feed the bear.
I'm happy he can keep earning me money. That's all good for him. And we're on to the prelims now, which every one except for 2 fights were KOs or submissions. So fairly short prelims as it happened. We had Alessandro Costa versus Matt Schnell at catchweight. One of these fat bastards could have made weight. I'm not sure which one. Fairly steady first 2.5 minutes, and then Costa just stepped in with a right hand, put Schnell on chicken legs. Schnell then died for Costa's legs. Costa obviously sprawled, started hammering hammerfist down. About a dozen unanswered shots from what I could count. And I'm not sure how much they were doing, how much damage they were doing. But it was enough to convince Herb Dean because he stopped the fight then. Was it an early stoppage? The fact that Schnell kept grappling after Herb had waved it off kind of edges it in Herb's favour for me as a good decision. How about you, Austin? What do you think? Early, good decision? What?
Well, I mean, it's optics, right? Getting wobbled the way he did, even if it was just an individual strike, doesn't help. The fact that he didn't respond when, until the fight was officially stopped, you know what I mean? Like, he sees him getting hit, regardless if the hammer fists are landing. He's not doing anything. He's staying in position. He's not, giving a thumbs up. He's not improving his position. He's not trying to defend more of the strikes. He's just there, right? He's on a leg, arms up, kind of on the leg with his head tucked in, but he's not responding well. He's just there, right? He's holding on position. And then only when the ref, Herb Dean, comes in to stop the fight, that he responds, and it's because he's already trying to take down his opponent, which he does take down his opponent, and then Nerdine has to pick him up. He's like, hey. He's like, what? Why'd you stop the fight? Why'd you stop the fight? I'm like, I don't know, dude. Maybe, maybe don't. If you're gonna sell the thing, you gotta at least try. You didn't really sell it. You sold it after the fact, and that's fine. But you gotta sell it during. You can't play the victim right afterwards. Come on. I don't know. I thought it was fair. Probably could have allowed him to go unconscious, but I don't think we need Matt Schnell to go unconscious multiple times again.
No, probably not. And someone who definitely didn't go unconscious the next fight, which everyone I think was actually predicting would be a first round KO. John Yanis versus Marcus McGee at bantamweight. This was what looked like a pretty horrible matchup for Yanis. A very nice gift for McGee, or at least that was the initial reaction to this fight. I think, as I've already said, most people, myself included, are expecting a quick knockout. Yanis, though, had other ideas, put up a spirited defense, especially in that second round, where the strikes were, I believe, scored even. Even if he most likely lost that round, it was still much closer than either of the other two. In the end, fairly clear decision win for McGee. Won the numbers game on strikes. Helped, I think, by his constant switching of stances. He was constantly southpaw, regular southpaw, standard, regular standard. Never really gave Yanis time to truly settle and find his own way in the fight. And yeah, I believe congratulations to Daz Riccio, because I think he put McGee as a decision for this one when I had a brief glance at his picks. Yeah, good enough fight for McGee. A decent enough little scrap, entertaining, but not exactly super impressive, I wouldn't say.
Well, you remember he had a really competitive fight with Jan.
Yeah.
Right? So he's on the older side of bantamweight. He's like 36, right? So it's probably now or never. So he has to do something now, otherwise he's not going to be able to climb up the rankings again. He was just gifted an opportunity against Jan, and then he takes this fight. Now he's kind of got himself in a weird position where he has to perform, even if it's not the best opportunities, because he's behind on the ball a little bit, and he's got to pick up the pace for his career, which it kind of sucks because you kind of want to see them kind of play out a little bit, but he's capable. He's looking decent. But like you said, he didn't look like a killer. But the other thing too is that he just has to get good matchups. Him fighting against Jan the way he did probably proved that he was a guy that was worth being in the top 15. But at the same time, if he can't put on better performances, he's going to suffer in this division, especially against the other top 15 guys. And this division's already deep enough as it is. So hopefully he performs better in his next fight. But a win's a win, I guess.
Yep, for sure. I saw a picture of him with his dreads down, and I swear I thought it was Lil Wayne was going to be fighting this week. I told Gaff that he laughed as well, so it don't matter. And next up, we had Bruno Silva versus Edgar Cherez. This is another tale of me not trusting my own instincts and ignoring a 5-inch reach advantage, that stat that I love so much. I favoured Cherez, but apparently no one else did. At least none of those people whose opinion I trust. Guru and Left Lane MMA, I'm looking at you guys. The only real good thing I can take from the loss is that I wouldn't have gone with a submission win, which was what happened after Silva ran into the pocket and was met by a right uppercut, left hook combo. He hit the deck, mounted by Cherez, and rather than taking a beating from Mount, he turned off of the neck, and Cherez happily snatched it up and sunk in the rear naked choke. Pretty quick tap. Very nice little job by Edgar Cherez. I did see someone commenting that Cherez looks like the guy the older brother the girl sends round when you split up with her, her older brother. You might know more of that than me, Austin, there.
Yeah. I've had to deal with that once or twice.
I'm sure you've dealt with more Cherezes than I have. Who did you have in this one? Did you take Silva or Cherez?
No, I took Cherez because he's been looking decent as of late. And the thing was that Bruno Silva needed to engage in the clinching and grappling a little bit more than he did, because he would have found opportunities to get inside of Cherez's guard and possibly beat him in the pocket in exchanges. Because what he ended up doing was staying on the outside, which is what caught him in trouble, right? 2 knockdowns, and he found himself kind of forcing the engagement on the wrong terms because Chairez is good at the end of his punches, especially like you said, he's got the longer reach. He's on the taller, lankier side of flyweight. So he knows how to set up his strikes. If you get past his strikes, you're able to kind of get to him without too much issues. The problem is that you now have to establish that pocket, because if you're not, you're at the end of his punches, and if you're at the end of his punches, he's going to find a way to knock you down. In this case, submit you. He looked good doing it. So he got clipped a couple of times, but like it's the thing is that if he gets his range established, he knows how to get to you. So Bruno Silva should have known better, but at the same time, it's one of those things where it's like you don't expect Chairez to look good, and then he does, and you're like, oh, okay, he's a guy, cool.
Yeah, I think somebody on commentary said if you get Chairez going backwards, he doesn't fight very well. But Bruno Silva just couldn't do that this time.
Mm-hmm.
Every time he tried to step in close, he got slapped with an uppercut or something similar. But yeah, never mind. Great win for Chairez. And then we had one of the, was it 3 ladies fights we had on this card? Chelsea Chandler versus Priscilla Cachoeira. Weird name.
Yes.
Yeah, Cachoeira, she led the dance until Chandler landed, where I think it was a straight left that stunned her. She hit the ground. Cachoeira, at least according to Cruz at that point, had a way out of the grappling. But unfortunately for her, she didn't realize it. And Chandler was eventually, again, quite patiently, able to maneuver around, throw her legs over, and sink in the armbar very, very deep. I thought she'd snapped her arm when I first saw it. So I hope Priscilla has flexible arms, because it really did double over, made me cringe. Bit of a surprise. I didn't expect Chandler to win this one. I don't think most people did. We'll say Guru did pick Chandler. I didn't follow his pick on that one. Should have done maybe. But yeah, a women's MMA fight that ended in a finish. It's never a bad thing.
No, well, I think the reason why everybody would have been off on this one, I don't know what I picked, to be honest. But you kind of look at Chelsea Chandler. She doesn't look like a genuine article in this division. It's bantamweight, so it's kind of hard to pick one. But Cachoeira at least has got meanness to her, and some, she's also a little bit of a dirty fighter. So, Lazy would be in here, howling at the moon constantly about how much of a dirty fighter she is. And I can't disagree with it, but, she's one of these types who, like, if she can't knock you down with her bad striking, she's probably going to lose unless you can't finish her in gas. That's the other thing too, is that they were kind of throwing them, them hands a little bit sloppily, but still they were kind of landing on each other. It was only a matter of time before one of them went down, and it just happened to be Cachoeira that went down, and it didn't help that she gave a position to get submitted.
Yeah. All right, enough of that one then. Before that we had Jordan Levitt versus Joanderson Brito. Again, I don't have the weights. I really should write.
It's featherweight.
Featherweight. Thank you very much. Yeah, this one started off. I guess we all knew how this one was going to go, or how they want to try and take it. Levitt just dived straight in for a takedown. Just the minute he threw a punch, it was like, oh, that's a punch thrown. I'm going to dive for your legs. And although Brito was able to get up, Levitt did keep the fight where he wanted it, up against the cage for quite some time. And it was going, I think, as he hoped, until Brito did finally manage to reverse the position. He managed to get some space, and he started teeing off with some punches that were just backed by evil intent. He was swinging for the fences there. And you could say, I don't know if Levitt got clipped by one or not, and just decided, no shit, I want nothing to do with this. It's probably his pre-fight plan, to be fair. But yeah, Levitt was immediately he tried to dive for another takedown. Brito stuffed it, and then he tried again, and this time Brito was waiting for it, and he just sank in that very, very deep ninja choke, and pulled Levitt around, because Levitt squirming around, obviously quite good at Brazilian jiu-jitsu himself, but he was not getting out of that. The how deep he got it in, just inescapable. Didn't really matter if Levitt rolled over. It was a good night Vienna for him. He just had to tap out. The only other thing I can say about this one, Joanderson Brito, don't ask for bonuses. You know it doesn't work. Just don't ask for bonuses, please.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah. I mean, think about it like this. Levitt is trying something new at featherweight, right? So, because he used to be a lightweight. Probably because he just doesn't like the idea of how those guys can, exchange and some of the grappling that he does, because he's a grappler himself.
Mhm.
So he probably likes his chances better at featherweight. But those guys are also pretty big too. He was the smaller of the two in this fight, and he honestly kind of looked like he was afraid of exchanges in this one. The way he said it too is kind of interesting. Well, I mean, I don't want to get hit by Joanderson Brito. I get that, but but he went to the well way too many times. Am I right? Like he kept selling on the takedown attempts. Like, this is what Belal Muhammad should have been doing the whole time, but
Yeah.
he just kept going back to the well, and eventually someone's going to catch you doing it, right? And he left himself open for it because he wasn't expecting a front choke exchange. He just kind of thought Brito would give him openings and then try to fight it out. And I'm imagining the game plan was take him down, get it tired, and then look for dirty boxing, grappling at the end of the fight to get a submission. That's what I'm thinking that their game plan was, except they forgot Joanderson Brito has the ability to finish from his back too. So, it's one of those things where it's like, you live and you learn. Probably should have paid attention a little bit better, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I had Brito for first round finish, but by KO, not by bloody submission. Took me by surprise.
I think a finish was coming in this fight one way or another.
By the way, I've just looked at the performance bonuses. I didn't look at them early because I was trying to avoid spoilers on the fights. And the one we've been flagging off was Fight of the Night: Brendan Allen versus Edmen Shahbazyan.
I don't know about that, but I guess that's the fight.
Yeah, well, and performance of the night: Rudy Baraniewski and Edgar Chairez. Pretty fair, I think, for those guys. But we had another women's fight, which I probably would have passed over for the most part, but it's Judice Duben versus Hesler Chavez, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, who is, of course, one of my draft picks, one of my women's MMA draft picks. Not too exciting about the fight. A fairly easy decision win for Hesler Chavez. She dominated the first 2 rounds, had a little bit more trouble in the 3rd round, but by then the fight was pretty much already over. Nice little job, 15 points for me. Anything you want to say, Austin? Apart from how great Hesler Chavez looked.
No, I mean, yeah, this was a typical you give a round, you lose a round, you give a round again type of thing. And one of them was more of a willing participant in a bad game plan, and the other was slightly better at the bad game plan than they were at being a participant, I think. And it's kind of like almost a similar skill level almost, but like they just kind of like, you can tell one of them was more of an athlete and the other one was just a tough out for whoever they were going to fight. So it just kind of played into this like exchange of takedown attempts, striking that wasn't going to land, but when it landed you could tell they felt it, and it was just going to be whoever's stuck to whatever they were going to do was going to win. And that's it.
Sorry, just jumping in there. Were you saying that Hesler looks she's the athlete out of the two?
Yeah, I mean, she has this ability to kind of like bounce up and find openings.
Do you know what Hesler did? Do you know what she did before she became a fighter?
I missed that part of the broadcast.
She was a cage girl for, I think, a Brazilian promotion.
Oh, okay.
She held numbers between rounds and decided, fuck that, I fancy going fighting instead.
Yeah, good choice, because now she's showing that she can do it.
Yeah. All right, yeah. I said I only really mentioned it for my 15 points on the draft, and that just left us. That just leaves us with the opener, really, which was Caitlin Souza versus Ariane Carnelossi. Very fun women's fight to open. Again, another one with finish. Souza just clipped the top of Carnelossi's head very early on, maybe a temple, I'm not entirely sure. Carnelossi fell down, and then this was possibly, he didn't get a KO of the night, but he probably should have got a KO of the night, because just as Carnelossi was recovering and standing back up, Souza threw a kick, caught her absolutely flush with it, knocked her out. The ref jumped in, stopped it. Just perfectly timed. You don't see so often. You'll see, people throw a kick and there's still a knee down or whatever, or they don't throw a kick at all as someone's getting up. And it was just nice to see. I'd like to see more of that. I know it's a bit risky, and you might lose the fight if you throw a foul, but really well timed. Very impressed.
Yeah, you mentioned that, right? Because Carnelossi was loading up some combinations and trying to get the pressure on Souza. Because Souza is kind of like one of those the hammer types. She's going to go in there, swing and bang until she lands and knocks you down. And then Carnelossi was kind of like these little, little anvil of a girl just walking in there trying to show that she can strike. Now, I don't think that was the right game plan because she went in there and the minute she got clipped, the fight dynamic changed, right? And I think that was a problem because I think had she started the grappling, she might have gotten Souza to be a little bit more hesitant on throwing strikes, which is probably what they were looking for because she was throwing combinations landing, but Souza was no-selling them. And then the minute she got clipped, and like you said, I thought it was possibly an early stoppage. I'm usually on the other side of this argument, but I thought the second she got hit with that kick, it looked like she was not out, but she was running around recovering. I think it was going to end regardless. The minute, I just figured, whatever, it is what it is. This is just a little early,
Yeah.
Yeah, I just thought it might have been considered an early stoppage just because, yes, the knockdown, 2 knockdowns in a row, the temple knockdown and then the head kick knockdown, which was fucking sweet. She should have got a bonus for that. But whatever.
Yeah, that was arguably my favorite, apart from Rudy's, which I don't know if Rudy's was counted as leg kick KO. It should be done, but it probably counted as leg kick plus punches.
Yeah, you possibly could have just done 4 finish bonuses for the opening. Ketlin Souza, Joanderson Brito, and Edgar Chavez, and then you could have probably give one to Tom Nolan, maybe. No, not Tom Nolan. I'm sorry. Definitely Chelsea Chandler. They're lower on the totem pole. They need the money. But no, yeah, fun all around. Main event was frustrating just because I felt like one person didn't show up, but whatever.
All right, then let's quickly go through the Tapology scores for this week. In first place, Jonah Far Out, who was far out with 675 points. 10 correct. Nicely done, Jonah Far Out. In second place, it's our very own Super Dave, 640 points. He remembered this week. I didn't even have to shout at him. And in third place, we hear his name quite a lot, MMA Autist. And John Ray, MMA also, both with 599 fights correct. Good old crossover in fifth. He's always lurking around. And the least said of myself and lazy, and even Daz Riccio for that matter, the better. So shall we rate this card, Austin? I think we have to rate it. Yeah. That's cool. Am I going first?
You want to go first?
Well, I did say in the intro that someone had said this was the best Apex card ever, and that was Left Lane MMA in his picks video. He actually asked the question, and he has to be up there. It was pretty damn good. Lots of finishers. I think was it eight or I think 8 finishers.
I think that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. It was at 7 or 8, whatever. It was a lot of finishers. Pretty decent card all in all. I'm trying to think what I gave last week's. I can't give it super high because there weren't that many consequential fights on it in certain respects, and it was in the Apex. But I think it's got to be. It's up there for Apex events. Can I scrape it into the 8s? I don't know if I'm quite generous because I did fall asleep and I did not want to see that main event. Even though I only enjoyed watching it because I knew that Belal had lost, so that was the only entertaining part of it. Always happy to see Belal getting pieced up. No, I'm what are we at? Oh, the date is just so tempting me. Because I believe in America it is the 6th of the 7th, isn't it? Because of the way that you said.
I didn't say it this time. I didn't say it.
I think we've got to give it a 7.67 just for the hell of it.
Yes, that's fair. That's fair. I like that. That's funny. All right, that got me.
Could have some fun.
Oh yeah.
Probably lose some social credit points as well, but never mind.
Your social credit score is gone down.
Yeah, most likely.
Same. You know what? I'll just do the same. Fuck it. Why not? 7.67.
Hey.
I'm not the one who gave the score first. I was going to say something along the lines, but I was given the opportunity and I took it.
Absolutely. I can definitely say that's the first time someone has given the same score as me, just because of how I scored them.
We have to do the honorary one for lazy. This would be a 2.
I don't think even Lazy could have scored this one a 2.
Are you kidding me? Even if it's an Apex card that has lots of finishes, Lazy's standard.
I don't like the honorary lazy roll scores because last weekend you guys were dead wrong with his
Austin.
Scores, so. Austin was dead wrong with his score last week.
That's fine. I can be dead wrong again too. I guarantee he's going to say something along the lines of a 2.
No, I think he'd give at least a 5.
I don't know about that.
At least.
You know the amount of regional MMA that guy watches? Are you kidding me?
Where is it?
He's going to love the fact that it's that I'm going to say it too because he knows it's right.
Well, in a chat, he did compare one of the fights to regional MMA, so he might have enjoyed it after all. Okay, that is it from us this week, but we will be back next week when the UFC have kindly decided to celebrate our 100th weekend roundup with the UFC Freedom 250 event at the White House, an event shrouded in politics that I just don't give a fuck about, and I just want to shut the fuck up and watch the fights. I was very tempted to have a minor dig at the UK Prime Minister, maybe call him a wanker, but as I don't want to miss next week's show by being in prison, I shall instead wish my best to do all the Catholics out there on what I believe is a very special feast day, where they celebrate the real presence of Jesus Christ in the Eucharist. That is, the belief that the bread and wine consecrated at Mass truly becomes the body and blood of Christ. And if you're expecting a joke here, it's not happening. I'm just going to get a drink instead. It just won't be blood. Now, say we did it, Austin.
We did it! Yeah!
I don't know how that ended as an ending there, but I just happened to find out that it was that particular saint's day today, or feast day today.
Okay. I think, we're done, right? I think that was the end.
Oh, yeah, pretty much.
We don't even know anymore. We're just like fucking rambling along. Like, well, where are we at, guys? What's happening? He even grappled.
I got good news and I got bad news.
Give me the bad.
Well, the thing is I'm manipulating you in part of my master plan.
That's fine. I'm cool with that. Wait, what?
Bryce would go for a